Alright, time to look at the garden again. That, let me zoom in. That's my tree. It had a lot of space between the rim of the pot and the top of the soil, and that wasn't going to work. I composted in there. Well, I put compost in there last year, and it degraded down, and the level dropped. So anyway, I pulled the tree out, just the whole root ball. I pulled it out. I backfilled with some soil, some compost on the bottom, and then I put the tree back and put dirt around the edges. You know, there was a space around the edges, and I put dirt in there and watered it down real good. Let me see. I need to turn the pot, so we're gonna do that. Come on, Mr. Tree. Come on, Mr. Tree. It was bent over from the wind, so I'm just trying to kind of straighten it out. All right, there's the rose bush. That was a tree in there, but I don't think it was a tree cutting. I don't think it's doing so good. I think it's gone. So, new thing that I did today, this morning. There's my planting bed. It used to be bare dirt. I get wood chips. I have friends that bring me wood chips every now and again. Got a new load today. The dug pile, you see the very low pile, that is chips that sat all winter long to kind of compost. Well, I just put a layer in my planting bed. It will hold the moisture in because we got drought conditions. That's very important. It holds a lot of water without getting overly heavy. Holds water in the ground. And I had to go around my little corzini, which is my acorn squash and zucchini crosses. I had to go around them so they were poking out. They'll quickly, in a week or so, grow above the level of the wood. And they should be all right. See, there they are. And even more. The little scrap pieces of tomato didn't make it. But I do have the 2 ugly tomatoes. That one over there in the corner is doing really well. And this one's coming along. Trimmed my tree. It had branches that hung down really low. Trimmed those off because they're just going to get bigger and fatter and they keep smacking us in the face. I untied the tree from the post. The rope was digging in to the trunk of the tree. It was time. I didn't want it to get any more damaged. So it's on its own with the wind and it's doing okay. It's surviving all right. My oak tree, I cut the lower branches, so now it's just got the upper ones, which are at the right level, so they can grow, they can stay. But it's set up so a person can walk underneath it. There's the kitty. That's Sweet Pea. A donation from my parents. Silly girl. We'll zoom out. Yeah, they had problems at their house and they couldn't keep her, so they gave her to me. She's a purebred Maine Coon cat. And on to the squashies. Alright. This is the butternut squash and the Tigger melons and the green beans. The butternut squashes were not coming up, so I had to reseed. And you see these brand new little ones popping out? Those are the butternuts. They finally did come up. They're okay. And that big one is a Kentucky green bean. And it's quite healthy and doing really well. This one is the Stripedi and the Bozeman watermelon. Now, let me see if I can get in here. Boink. Okay. The big one with the kind of palish leaves, round leaves, that's my Bozeman. That's my watermelon. these other ones right next to it, you know, with the more lobed leaves, that's going to be my striped. And you see a brand new one. Interesting story about the brand new ones. Let me pull this out. All right, we had one of these break. They sat outside all winter. And we had one of them rot and break open. And when I came out here to do the pots, it was laying on the ground with seeds everywhere. So a couple of the seeds I put in here to see if they would grow for my striped rather than go in the house and dig in my seeds. Forget that. I just put them in there. Obviously, they did come up. They're doing well. Let me see. They grew right here. And when I pulled some weeds out, I pulled out about 5 of them, but they had just started. They had just barely poked their leaves out. They had just started, so they just had tiny little roots at the bottom. So a couple of them I put in that pot. And let me see, a couple of them I moved over here, and at least one is doing really well. Funny that. They volunteered, so here they are. All right, let's zoom out. All right, onto these. And it rained, you can tell. This is triangle squash and canary melon and green beans. And you can see we're going crazy. These big leaves are triangle squashes. And let me see if I can find, well, that's a canary melon. That little one right here is a canary melon. And there's another back there is another canary melon. And this big plant, I think, is dandelion. I got some seeds for dandelions with big leaves and, you know, yummy for salad. They didn't come up last year. We spread them around. But I think that's what that is. That came up this year. And we got the blue Hubbard and canary melon. The blue Hubbard is these. I'm pretty sure. And this would be canary melon. And they're getting big, and they're getting big quick. Now, let me see. Back this is a green bean. And this is a green bean. So they're doing good. And when I was planting, I shoved some melon seeds, canary melons, I do believe. I shoved them in the ground down here. There's the broken striped and still some seeds over there. And here's some baby canary melons. They actually took and they're growing. Sweet meat squash and blue moon pumpkin. Now they weren't coming up. Here, let me get in here. We've got squishy leaves. I need to free these leaves up. I don't want their leaves all squished up. Poor thing. All right. Move the little rock. Give it a little more room. Oh, wow, there's 2 of them. There's 2 right here. Anyway, they weren't coming up, and I thought they weren't going to come up, so I reseeded. Come to find out, they were going to come up. They did come up, and now I've got a million of them because I reseeded. So I guess we'll just have to deal. The strong ones will live, the other ones won't. Okay, now we got Bozeman and striped cushaw. Okay, I'm looking. These dull pale ones, I think those are the Bozeman. And I believe this is the striped cushaw. This one with the white. Let me see, there's another one coming up. And I'm hoping this little new one's going to be a striped cushaw. Can't be sure. Let me pull this little weed out. No little weeds. Oh, and another one came up in the back. I'm sure that's a Bozeman. I think I put the striped cushaw in the middle and the Bozeman on the outside. Nope. Put that back. By the way, the wire is to keep the cats out. The cats wanted to rip at my plants because they wanted to dig in the dirt, so I had to cover that one up. That one was getting it bad. Okay, blue banana and delicata. I believe this one with the big leaves in the back is the blue banana. And I believe this smaller one here is the delicata. And that's all that's come up so far. That's enough. It'll work. It'll do it. All right. This is pink banana and snow leopard melon. And, of course, green beans. There's a green bean. I think these really big leaved ones, I think they're all blue banana. And then this one back over here is a snow leopard melon. I'm pretty sure. And see in the back, another little one way back there, snow leopard. And over there, snow leopard. And right there, that's a snow leopard. And this is strictly Bozeman watermelon in this one. Nothing else. Just watermelon. We like watermelon. And finally, we have the musk squash and the snow leopard melon and the green beans. This one with the white is a musk squash. You know, totally done deal. Here's the green beans. One that came up, one will work. And then I reseeded because it didn't look like the musk squash was coming up. So I put several musk squash seeds. Well, the musk squash did come up, and now I've got 3 more in here. It'll work. Let's see. Just weeds. Yeah, little weeds. Pain in the butt weeds. There's my melonies. They can grow up and they can go along the ground, or they can climb up the cages here. The cages are for melons, the green beans, and sometimes a squash. They use old tendrils and they'll climb up stuff. And matter of fact, there's some tendrils right there from last year. There's striped Betty that can go along the ground or climb. And I did put some over here, some seeds, but I'm not seeing anything. There's a worm. Yeah, those I gotta do something with. At least harvest their seeds and feed the flesh to the birds or something before they get nasty. There's one of the pots that I compost in. Chicken manure. If we take a chicken in the house that's sick, or if we have chicks that we raise, the bedding all goes into a pot, this pot or the one on the back porch. Cleaning the rabbit cages, it goes in this pot or the pot on the back porch, and it composts. And I use it for house plants, for my garden vegetables. In fact, all my composting from last year ended up in these pots. Their levels were really low from the top, so I backfilled with the compost with a little bit of like chipped wood soil on top. So that's what's in here, and that's also what's under the wood in the tomato area by the garage. And then let me zoom in. That area over there, I can and do grow tomatoes over there. There's cages. I'm not using it this year. After I weed whack, you'll see it's partially weed whacked down. And it's partially tall. Let me zoom out. It's partially tall. I got to finish weed whacking. And then I'm going to go into there at the power pole. I'm going to pull out all the cages. I'm going to get rid of the weeds. Pull out the weeds, get rid of them. And then I'm going to dig it up. And around the edge, I'm going to put the dirt berm like I have for the tomatoes over here. It's going to be a complete berm around that ring. And that will assist in keeping the water in. Then I'll set the cages back. Then I'm going to backfill with whatever compost I've got from these pots on the porch. And then finally I'm going to fill back in the rest of the way with more of those wood chips, which will hold the moisture in, help things grow. Wood chips are really good for plants. Really good mulch for a place where it's really got drought going on. Oh, and there's my pomegranate tree. Bees and hummingbirds love my pomegranate tree. Let's walk over and look at that. Yay for weed whacked ground. I'm barefoot. I'm always barefoot. Unless my feet are going to freeze off or there's prickles everywhere, I'm barefoot. Oh, look at this. At one point, this was weed whacked down all the way. It's coming back. Ah, all right. That plant is bad. That plant is prickly, and I thought I eradicated them, but here it's growing a new one. I'm pulling this one out. 1 second. None of these in my yard. None of these. Not allowed. Okay, I'm looking for more now. Got me paranoid. I'm not seeing any more, obviously. There might be some in the front ditch. Oh, look at that.